Controversial opinion, but I never understood Undertale. After months of my friends trying to convince me to try it, I finally caved and I just didn't get it. I couldn't connect with the characters, the humour in the story didn't really resonate with me, and the gameplay just seemed off. But what does all this have to do with Mundiali? Well, Mundiali has been touted as a heavily inspired by Undertale, and truth be told, I slept on Mundiali for a week or two before I really sunk my teeth into it, and now I can't wait to play it again. As a matter of fact, Mundiali is the first game in a long time that I've wanted to complete, and now that it's over, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the start. Mundiali opens up with a stranger walking into a tavern. Monster people, or animal people, live peacefully with humans in this fantasy world, but the stranger informs us it wasn't always this way, and opens up her book to tell the story of how it all came to be just 3 short years ago. So begins the 5 to 7 hour story of Michael and how he accidentally stumbles on the monster kingdom below his world called Dagrat. During this time, you will tangle with a gang of crocodiles, explore magical forests, and uncover a story full of wonder, charm, and intrigue. This is a story that eventually hooked me in, despite my resistance to the game at first. I won't spoil the story here, but after the first hour of playing Mundiali, I simply had to know what happened. There are small choices that aren't really presented as such, that affect the world and even the outcome of the story. Small things like watering a plant in each chapter, or talking to a random NPC will eventually affect the outcome of the game when the credits roll. I smiled when I saw minor characters or actions being presented in the ending, and it made me want to go back and play again right away, despite getting a very favourable and balanced outcome. The game plays like an interactive story with small puzzles to solve and plenty of dialogue options, many of which will affect how the world of Dagrat treats you. You'll also have the option to romance certain characters, which I didn't really focus on too much, and I felt the character Michael ended up with on my run was a nice gradual relationship evolution that finished off my version of the story perfectly. There are some moments where the dialogue did seem slightly off, but that could be because of the game's intentional humour or perhaps some minor localization issue. Either way, it didn't take away from the experience, just made me scratch my head for a short minute. The game is presented with a simple yet gorgeous pixel art style that is full of charm and wonder. The characters have detailed portraits when speaking, and the palette of the world is bright and vibrant. The environments are really varied, and despite the Kingdom of Dagrat only realistically being a dozen or so screens big, it never ceases to make you feel like you inhabit a much larger world. Scattered around this world are many collectibles in the forms of cassette tapes. Now for you younger folks, that's what we used to listen to music on, and collectible plush dolls to find. All in all, Mundiali is a wonderful story that didn't quite hook me from the start, but when it did, I just couldn't put it down. If you're a fan of Deltarune or Undertale, then Mundiali is an essential purchase and a great game in its own right. For the rare few that weren't sold on those games, Mundiali might be a harder sell, but it is a great story with wonderful characters in a very strange world. I regret not jumping into Mundiali sooner, but I'm very glad I did eventually. So, what's it like? Mundiali is a cross between Undertale and Monkey Island. I give it an 82 out of 100.